Welcome to Art Tale!
Woo! And let's talk industry.
Hi, my name is Genevieve. I'm a BFA 2 character animator.
My name is Nick, and I'm a BFA 2 character animator.
My name is Phil, and I'm a BFA 3 character animator.
And I'm Sarah. I'm a post-production coordinator at Sony Pictures Animation, and I graduated from film and video back in 2016.
Ooh.
Yay!
We have a very important question to get this interview started. It's a late night. It's been a long day at work.
Yes.
It's a cold night in California, meaning like it's, I don't know, like 60 degrees, right?
Yeah.
And you're feeling a bit hungry. You feel this rumbling in your tummy at 2 a.m. Taco Bell or In-N-Out?
Probably Taco Bell.
Ah, okay. Now, even harder question, what's your order?
So I do a pretty plain order. I'm normally a Doritos Locos Taco person, crunchy tacos.
Classic,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and my partner will order maybe 3 bags of food, and then I have my little bag of food. I have my, like 3 tacos, and they have burritos, they have their tacos, they have their cinnamon twists. So I get to see them eat, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good with my 3 tacos.
Very nice. All right, now I think we draw our little mascot. What's her name?
Artie, Artful
Artie.
Artichoke.
Artie.
Yep.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah, sure.
I graduated CalArts almost 10 years ago, so how's your experience like?
You know, honestly, like, when it comes to our character animation faculty, it's like really nice. All of our teachers are amazing. Maya runs a really tight, chaotic ship here at our department because we're doing so much, like all the time.
Everybody loves Maya.
I love her
Maya
so
is like the glue that keeps us all together. It's
She really
pretty.
does.
It really is pretty great. I don't know.
It is.
It's been fun here.
I think for me, I always advocate for a teacher who cares. And like Nick said, every teacher here seems to care. And I think that's really important for an art school specifically.
Oh,
Yeah, that's my experience.
I
as an
think
art
for me,
student.
it's, again, the faculty, like, they offer just so much I feel like you can't get anywhere else in any other school. It's just so much valuable information that I feel like what makes CalArts' animation program, like, its own thing compared to anything else. But yeah, it's been really good.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, just being back here brought up a lot of fun, very painful memories, mostly from the all-nighters. But it made me appreciate how small the classes were and how small my actual graduating class was. I think at the end we only had 12 in our BFA program. Yeah.
Wow.
What?
I think started out with 18 at like my BFA 1 year, and then some people just gradually dropped. Because
no.
I was in film and video where I was doing mostly experimental,
Oh, okay.
and I kind of was already a little bit advanced for my program too. So I finished my classes very early on, like my 3rd year, but I just wanted to go into animation. So I managed to get my first internship at Stupid Buddy Studios. So that's where they do like Robot Chicken, and they do a lot of stop motion. And I told them I knew how to use this program called Avid. Never touched it before. But I got in, and I kind of figured that I didn't know. But the community and just being in animation, everybody's so patient and so helpful. And I think that's also another thing I love about CalArts, that everybody's super supportive
Yes.
and very collaborative. And that's why even though I wasn't a character, I always snuck into any character workshop that I can get into, and everybody was always so collaborative and supportive.
It's like not just the teachers, but the students as well. I feel like they're just consistently able to help.
Yeah.
Which is always important in the artistic community.
It's really interesting how you brought up how you actually got into animation. Like when you were here, did you think that animation was kind of like where you wanted to take your skills?
I think so. As a kid, I wanted to be in film, but at the same time, too, I was like, oh, I can't get into film, so I'm gonna do the easiest route. I'm gonna be a neurologist. I was like, that's so much easier.
Completely related,
Yeah. But I was making films at the same time. So when I got to high school, I was like, oh, maybe I can get into cinematography.
Right.
It's like I can go to CalArts. And I'm like, maybe I can find a way to get into animation because I'm technically at CalArts. And that's when I learned about post-production editorial. So at Stupid Bitty, I got into editorial. So I worked on a show called Super Mansion. And I worked on that for, I think, 4 months. And then finished my third year. I also, during my time at CalArts, I got into 3 out of 4 of the showcases for film and video.
Wow.
So I got to go to Red Cat, showcase my stuff.
Nice.
But then I would go to the producer show and be like, man, I wish I was so cool to be in a producer show.
Oh.
The dream.
Yeah, the
dream.
dream.
The light at the end of the tunnel. Just producer at the end of the year. It does feel like that. Yeah.
And then my final year, I was in post-production, a post-production intern at DreamWorks Animation.
Wow.
So on feature and series, so I got to work on what was supposed to be the last Kung Fu Panda. I worked on Kung Fu Panda 3. So I got to QC the film like 30 times.
Wow.
Yeah, I got to see the beginnings of the Trolls animatics, Hot Boss Baby. They were just pitching the story for the final How to Train Your Dragon. Everybody was crying. So I was there like at a very good time.
Yes.
And my boss at the time is now one of my coworkers and employees at Sony now, which is kind of crazy to see.
Yeah.
And I love her so much, Allison. She was one of my internship bosses at DreamWorks, and now she's our post-production supervisor on GOAT and was the supervisor on K-pop. Yeah.
A close connection, right?
Yeah, very close.
Yeah.
And then I jumped over to Nickelodeon where I did social media and connected content internship. So I got to work on basically everything.
So you have like your creative like hands on a lot of these projects that have been out for like the last 10 years. That's crazy. That's really an accomplishment. Like,
Yes,
Like,
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's like a lot of consistent work also. And about that as well, like how do you consistently move from one project, especially if it's in a different studio as well, to another, basically? Especially if you're starting out as well.
I would say I got very lucky. So it's kind of mixed. So I graduated from CalArts in 2016, and I actually got into the master's program at USC for cinematography.
Nice.
2 weeks in, I was like, oh, this is actually not what I want to do. This is also very expensive too, and the vibes were just not vibing for me.
It's not CalArts, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, no, exactly. It was a totally different vibe, and even my mentors for my final review at CalArts were like, oh, you're gonna change USC. Like they have all these different standards, but you're gonna change it.
Right.
And I'm like, that's weirdly a lot of pressure to put on me. So I dropped out, and I worked with a production company full of CalArtians too for a year before leaving and trying to find something in the industry. And I had applied to like maybe 500 jobs. And out of those 500 jobs, I got 4 interviews. One interview was a PA job, and they told me that I didn't have enough experience for it, even though it was entry level and mostly cleaning like the kitchen.
Wow.
And
Need a
picking up
master's.
errands.
Entry level,
Yeah.
but you have to have like credits elsewhere first, right?
Yeah, they wanted like all this like experience, and I'm like, well, that's not gonna work out. So eventually I managed to go back to my first internship, Stupid Bitty, where I was an assistant editor. So I got to work on Goldfish commercials. My very first commercial was a Jersey Shore commercial. It was like a wedding commercial. And I went from that to working on the very first Mickey Mouse Christmas special.
wow.
Wow.
Interesting.
Just right after.
Yeah, so it was the very first stop motion Mickey Mouse Christmas special.
Dang.
That aired on, what is it, Disney Junior?
I think
Yeah,
it would be.
yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and then from there, I got a new boss, which I was also nervous about because it was 2 months into my job. I was already working on these commercials, and my old boss was like, yeah, I'm actually being fired. So I was like, oh, so I'm meeting a new boss that I don't know, so I don't know what my job security is going to be like.
Right, right.
But it ended up being such an incredible boss that actually encouraged me to be a post-production coordinator.
Wow.
So I got to be a coordinator on Crossing Swords, which was on Hulu, and I think a show called, I want to say it was Robot Chicken, but I think it was MODOK on Hulu.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was having a good time for a few months, and then the pandemic hit.
Pandemic.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm going to be out of a job, but a month not even a month, maybe like 2 weeks after, my boss was like, hey, so we weirdly got all of the shows that we were trying to get greenlit. So now we went from having 2 shows in production to 10 shows in
10?
production.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Were you in charge of all 10, or was it?
Yeah, so I got to the point
Wow.
where I got promoted from post coordinator to post manager.
Wow.
And I had to go back on campus to manage 300 stages.
Oh, wow.
So I had a lot of job security for like, let's say, like 3 years, 3.5
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
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 That sounds like, you know, speaking of you working on that Jersey Shore commercial, that sounds like quite the situation.
Keep staring. No.
But like, I think you bring up like a really interesting facet about the industry, especially with animation, was that like a lot of people are talking about how there was kind of this animation bloom during the pandemic because it was
Yes.
stuff we could do at home.
Right.
Nobody had to
yeah.
be in person or like in live action to film. Do you see like, and we've heard a lot about like the industry kind of dialing back from that. Do you think like has like that time in the pandemic given you like more? Think given like animation professionals like more opportunity to bloom on their own now? Like, do you think we'll see like more work coming out, or like do you think it's gonna like keep going down again, or do you think it's just like ups and downs every few years?
I mean, for me personally, especially at Sony, I'm very lucky where there's so much going on at Sony that's been unannounced, where there's a lot of work happening. I would say maybe it's a little bit more competitive when it comes to hiring, especially for PAs. I feel like there is a little bit more of a competitive edge, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So they're expecting you to have a lot more experience than I think in the past they would be asking for. But I think if you really stand out, especially on social media, because they really do check social media, and if you're like an outstanding artist, or you have kind of like, if you're a part of the animation community and everybody kind of knows you, you have a better way of getting into like a job like Sony or other animation studios.
And you mentioned the entry-level jobs for PA are like, I don't know if I'm reading it wrong, but like they're decreasing, right? It's becoming more competitive. What is exactly a PA, I wouldn't say portfolio, but experience look like? What does it look like to someone who's hiring, someone who might be interested in the role?
I would say, so in terms of like, if I were to hire somebody for post-production,
Right.
which is mostly like handling everything that editorial's being given and handling deliveries and a lot of assets that we would send to our vendors, like our title
Right.
vendors, music vendors, vendors that handle picture. We're looking for somebody that has very specific, well, maybe not very specific. If you have like any technical experience of delivering, of exporting, of knowing software, and if you have a passion for it too, and kind of establish that in your LinkedIn and on your resume, and especially in your interview, if you're able to really just go on heavy-handed with that, that's something that my bosses really love. And that's something that I've encouraged people that I recommend for editorial gigs at Sony. And luckily, I've been very lucky to have 2 people, no, actually 3, get into Sony, because I've been kind of like typing them up and be like, please, just hit these steps and you can get in.
Nice. Yeah. So it's like a lot of it during the interview, you have to show that you are knowledgeable technology-wise, and also obviously have a passion for doing all the After Effects, getting people to do music and stuff like that as well.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And especially for production, if you show that you're very organized, you have very good communication skills, you know of the software, and have some familiarity with the pipeline, even if it's just going to Lightbox and getting
Right.
a sense of their pipeline and being like, yeah, like I know exactly what the pipeline will look like and how I can integrate myself and kind of just simulate to that. That's a really good way of like looking really good with whoever you're talking to.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So for the K-pop Demon Hunters questions we have for you, my first question for you is the experience on the project. Like, what can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so I worked on K-pop Demon Hunters like early 2023. So I was the one that was handling almost all of the 80-hour records. So this is all of the voice actors. So I got to do a lot of the scheduling in South Korea, in LA, in New York. I think at one point in Budapest.
Whoa.
So that was really exciting.
All over the world.
Yeah, and I got to see like all the stages of animatic to adding animation and lighting. I got to see a lot of different things that fans speculate could have been in the cut, but might not have been in the cut. Like there's an aquarium scene. I can't say if there was.
That was that. It's so interesting. It was like the day after the film premiered, like every VizDev artist was like, "This is the scene that I wanted to put in," and then they posted it to Twitter, and that goes viral.
And I'm like, telling my bosses like, "Yeah, this is going on." Or
Yes,
like,
yes. It was just crazy. Yes.
Yeah, so I got to handle all the ADR stuff. I get to also work with the post-production supervisor who handles all of the vendors, working with Netflix on delivery. So I get to help also kind of streamline that process and making sure everything is archived correctly on our end and on Netflix's end. So it's a lot of back and forth emails and a lot of like structuring our drives.
A lot of organization.
A lot of
it sounds
organization.
Like. Yeah, you gotta get skills in that. I assume. Right.
But I mean, I really loved it, and I already knew right off the bat with the music that it was going to be huge.
Right.
And my bosses were like, "Well, we don't know how huge it's going to be," and I'm like, "No,
No,
watch."
Y'all were cooking over there. Y'all were cooking. Right? Speaking of cooking, I mean, it's obviously like it's obviously like an amazing project. Y'all worked very hard on it. Like, you know, you can tell like a lot of like love went into it. And I guess my question is, as much as that love may have gone into it, did you ever find yourself, when you are editing on a project for so long, do you ever get tired of seeing it over and over and over again? Or do you find like, oh, you know what, I'm in the zone for this. I can listen to this for a year while I'm working on it.
Right.
Yeah, I would say like being in my first like studio job at Stupid Buddy, because it was like, I think for us it was a little bit more anal, because with stop motion you have a lot of like the fine little hairs that come off when you're animating and like little dust in your shots that we would have to QC like maybe 50 notes from our QC vendor being like, hey, there's like this little hair, do you guys want to do a creative intent, which is basically just leave it as is, or actually go in and change it? So I would be rewatching like some of these episodes like
Just for a piece of hair.
Just for a piece of hair, like 20, 40 times, and then they would resend and be like, hey, like I know that you said that you wanted to keep this, but are you sure you want to keep this? And I'd be like, you know what, maybe I'm quite like, I have to question myself again whether it was worth to keep it. So I would say having to rewatch it through my Stupid Buddy experience made me now numb to it at Sony.
Just the repetitiveness of the entire process, right?
Yes, and I'm also lucky that there's a lot of productions happening right now at Sony, so we get to see like consistently a lot of different projects at the same time. So for me, it doesn't really matter anymore because I'm always getting like a palate cleanse with like another production.
Yeah.
It seems important, right? To be able to go to a different project, even if it's like a personal project. I feel like for animation, it feels kind of the same. Or if you're looking at like your TV paint project again and again and again, you're like, oh, I need to work on my personal art. So then you move on to a different project just to like reset, right?
Oh yeah, no, and there's so we have a film coming out called Goat. So Goat is almost finished in animation. So you have a lot of like finished animation, and then you have other films that haven't been announced yet that are also early stages of animatic. So you're jumping from like different stages of animation back and forth with different productions. So I would say it's always constantly changing, and always, for me, I really love how exciting that is, and it keeps me not bored.
Right.
And like not stressed about like getting bored of my job, because there's always something different happening.
I think that's like a constant anxiety for people nowadays, especially. It's like, if I get into a job that pays well and I like my boss and everything, but the work is just too repetitive and I just won't feel fulfilled in it, how do you balance between being satiated with like the more, how do I say, like monetary / like just practical work environment and like personal fulfillment with like personal art and passion?
I think for me, so on top of Sony, I have 2 other jobs. So I work for an organization called ASIFA Hollywood, and they are an animation organization that also runs the Annie Awards. Wow. And they're very much into the animation community. They host screenings. So I'm able to kind of put my creative energy towards that on top of working with the 24 Hours Contest for animation students.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we are going to announce the winner soon on October 17th. So like for me, like outside of Sony, I really love to give to the community. So working with the ASIFA Hollywood and the 24 Hours Contest makes, or at least kind of replenishes my energy so I can continue to give more to Sony. But at the same time too, these past few weeks have been kind of crazy because it's like how everything piling up. But I
Right.
really love contributing as much as I can to the industry.
This is kind of okay, so this is a Nick segment, one that I
Nick
came up
segment.
with. Okay. For when I special guest star on our tale. So that was me posing for a thumbnail in case like there was like a cool graphic we wanted to do.
Yeah.
We'll put that on post. No, I'm kidding, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm calling this yuck or yippee. Okay, what is a creative like yuck or yippee you have like within like okay. As speaking as like an editor, right? Like when you're looking at like a piece of like finished product, what's something you can notice where you're like, ooh, like I don't really like that technique, or what's something that you really, really love with an editing choice? You can do both too.
Let's see. Because I was only an editor for a very short time. I would say on the client side, sometimes we would go back and forth for one single note for a few weeks, and it'd get to the point where I'd be like, this is the same thing, and we go back to like the original editor, like this is perfect.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but we spent 3 weeks working on this, and they're like, no, we actually like the original.
Overthinking is a plague upon the industry.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
What about a yippee? Like what's something, and it could be something you do within your job, or it could be something like you see when you're watching that you really, really like.
I would say, so we were bringing back a lot of our editorial team for Beyond the Spider-Verse. So the AEs on it, the way that they archived across, I mean, this is more of a technical nerdy thing, but the way that they archived across the Spider-Verse is so clean, so detailed, so perfect.
Sounds like
And it
heaven.
makes me so happy. So when they wanted to come back for the Beyond the Spider-Verse, I was so happy. I was like, okay, I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to worry about missing files. Like everything's going to be there once it wraps.
Right.
Yeah. So for me, it's like more technical, like very specific things in
No, that makes
post-production.
sense. It makes sense. It's always
Yeah.
like a common piece of advice here. It's like you gotta name your file correctly, make sure
Yeah.
you number them, but don't make it too convoluted. It's like it does help a lot.
Our digital methods professor last year, Fran, he would like go over and over and over again. He would just be like, he's like, every chance he got to be like, name your files correctly, name your files correctly, and it's good to know that is good to know. You know what I mean?
Like producers as well, right? Read through
Yeah.
the files easily. You guys are watching it over and over again. We might as well make it very organized for you guys, make it easier, right?
Yeah, no, and I was gonna ask you guys, do you guys, I mean, for film and video, we purchase our own hard drives. Do you guys have your own hard drives too?
Yeah.
We get told the rule of 3. You get save it on 3 places. So we have a Google Drive, we have the FV Central Drive, and then oh my God, I'm giving a lot of information for anybody that wanted to potentially hack into CalArts. I'm sure it's not that hard.
Nick's password is starts with a
But like they're like, and then we usually all have our own hard drive.
Yeah.
But like because sometimes like the drives at school can be a little inconsistent, I'll usually work on mine and then save it later to others. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would do this thing where I would just like make sure every month I backlog it onto my drive in my room, and then I'd be set for another month. But like Nick said, the network's down, and we can't access FV Central if the network is down. So it's like you said, really important to just use hard drive as well.
Yeah. No.
Can you talk about like some of the ways in which you like save files, I guess? Like
Yeah.
what like how expansive is like the file systems in these big productions you're working in?
It's huge. So I would say we have a massive network that everybody can kind of launch themselves to, on top of something that we use called C-Media. So our editorial teams will transfer a lot of their edits there. We have our own little drive that I don't think I'm supposed to say, but we have our own little
Dang it, we almost got it out of here.
our own drive that we can access from home. So
Right.
our editorial teams are very lucky to have 2 setups. So we have our setup for them on campus, and they have their own setup at their home. So they're able to access just one server that they can just basically drop in everything they want, and then there's like a duplicate of that as well that IT does. Yeah. But I was thinking about when I was at CalArts, I had 3 hard drives. In my final year, I was doing a showcase at the, I'm blanking, at the, is it the Black and White studio?
Maybe.
Do we have that?
Yeah, I might be like mispronouncing it or like saying maybe it's not the right name.
I think it's A404.
Is
the
it?
A404 room.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, last year in that weird like room.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah,
it
It's,
is.
you remember like Franny took us into that room and it was like
Was it
he let us
first-
just do the cardboard.
Was it
The begin-
first semester?
First semester, first
He
day.
wasn't there for a semester.
Oh.
That's like probably why we haven't been to a lot of these
Haha,
things.
we know something fell, doesn't. But yes, black and white studio.
Oh I got it.
Oh,
Did you see that fell attack the mascot?
and you'll not show me the room either.
And we
I'm just the bad guy, aren't I?
We got a problem.
It's fine. Yeah.
So,
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I was gonna say, because you mentioned like having an archive as well. I was wondering if that's like a physical archive, or is that just like you said, like an FE Central sort of deal?
It's more of a central thing for Sony, but I would say when I was at CalArts, I had 3 hard drives. In my final
3?
year, 2 of them crashed,
Oh.
and I was
Hard
like,
drive.
yeah, I had the showcase with a group at the black and white studio, and like the main one, it had all my final edits crashed, and we were about to present it on like the projector, and somebody walked in, and they're like, "Hey, sir, how are you doing?" I'm like, just frozen. They're like, "What's going on?" I'm like, everything's gone. Everything's
no.
gone.
Shitting bricks. I did see that.
Yeah.
Right before the show too.
Yeah, right
Oh my
before the show
goodness.
too. So even with 3 hard drives, like you can never anticipate like everything like falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
Which is to say, like always have an additional backup to your backups because you never know.
Yes.
That reminds me, I need to go buy one. If anybody would like to sponsor Art Tale and give us free hard drives, please let us know. Please let us know.
How do you navigate the industry as a woman, and not only a woman, a Hispanic woman?
Ooh, I would say so. I'm first generation. My mom was in the garment industry, so she worked in product development, so mostly like shirts and clothes for brands like Disney, for Puma, but nothing related to what I wanted to do. And my dad was a welder, so of course, again, nothing related to what I wanted to do. So a lot of the programs I wanted to go to, and a lot of things I wanted to do in animation, I really had to kind of find those resources myself and really just, yeah, basically find these opportunities because it wasn't given to me essentially. So I had to really Google, I really had to be passionate about entering these programs. And I was telling someone today that I actually went to Orange County School of the Arts, and it was probably my roughest years in school because the curriculum was really brutal. And I was in the film TV program, but I learned so much there that really helped me when I went to CalArts. So it helped me in a very technical way, and I did take 3-hour bus rides back and forth to go to that school.
That's passion right there.
Yeah, every day. So
Wow,
I think
crazy.
just going through that too, like, made me kind of push myself to be even more determined when I was trying to find internships. So yeah, so when I was applying the internships, I was also applying maybe to like 100 internships like per year to get to like my 3 internships I ended up taking during CalArts.
Wow.
So it's kind of just, I had to have this like unlimited determination.
Yeah.
And I kind of look back to when I was little and I would do cross country as a kid. I was not good, always in last place. And my mom was always saying, "Why do you always go back and why do you finish?" And I'm like, well, I didn't know that I had the option to not finish. Like if I would have known that, I probably would have quit. So I kind of have that same notion when I'm applying to opportunities, doing like new jobs. Like I kind of have to instill that kind of same determination where I want to do the best that I can.
Right.
Even though I know there's a way to quit, you know, I just want to continue to kind of push myself to the next limit.
Oh yeah. It's
Do you feel
really,
like
really
with OSHA, what you learned at OSHA, do you feel like if you never went there, would you have known what you know now, or no?
No, I don't think so. And even with CalArts, I feel like I learned so much from CalArts. And I'm also very lucky that I went to CalArts because there's so much freedom.
Yeah.
And it's not as strict as going to a program like NYU or USC.
right.
I felt like my instructors and my mentors really let me, well, with some sort of like understanding of the technical aspect of like editorial and camera work. They let me really figure out what my style was and what I wanted to be as a filmmaker, and ultimately kind of going back into pursuing editorial and post-production.
Yeah.
And I think that's really beautiful that like you come from like a working class family, because I think that's something that often doesn't get talked about a lot, is like, especially within the arts nowadays, like
Yes.
how hard it can be just to even know where to start when you don't have connections beforehand. So like really like a round of applause for you for like
Yeah,
working so
thank
hard to get where
you.
you are. It's like, yeah, I can relate. I come from a working class family, so I totally understand.
Yeah, no, and like I think now too, like whenever somebody's like, I want to go to CalArts, I'm like, okay, this is what you need to do. Like I will try to help you as much as I can, like with every piece of knowledge I know. So like, you know, especially if I know that they're also kind of in the same level that I was, where I didn't have those connections, I really try to give as much as I can.
All right, so we want to have some, I guess, like an advice section if you do.
Yes.
So, speaking of helping people, do you have any advice for like film cinematography and editing for animated short films? Like, what do you think is like good rules to go by when you're trying to tell a clear and concise story in a shorter amount of time, as opposed to like a big motion picture?
Let me get my notepad.
Oh no, this is. I think I'm also going into like a very like producer's mindset too, where I'm like, well, so we're finishing up the 24-hour contest for
Right.
students, and there's a strict deadline for 30 seconds. So I kind of got a masterclass too over the way that everyone was structuring the films, where some of these students were doing complicated shots where they had like maybe 10 scenes, 12 scenes, and some of the best ones I saw only had 3 scenes and maybe like 2 locations. So I would say just depending on the story that you're creating and the time limit that you have, I think being aware of, I don't know, I'm blanking out. I think being aware of your time limit and the way that you want to pull in your audience. Like sometimes if you have like a lot of shots, and I think I'm coming also from a live action side, or sometimes I'm taking coverage of like so much and I have to condense it down to like 2 minutes. So sometimes I'm using footage that I really want to keep, but I have to cut to just get to the point of my story
Yeah.
and be like, this is what they want to see. This is how I'm going to convey it within a certain amount of time. So I think being willing to like, at the time when I was at CalArts, they call it like killing your babies, or
Yes.
essentially
Killing your dogs.
killing your darlings, where you're basically like killing all these like beautiful shots that you spend hours and hours on.
Yeah.
But like ultimately at the end, once you see the final product, it's
Right.
gonna be all worth it. And maybe you'll show that one shot that's like oh, like this was like a behind the scenes thing.
At the end, it's like I spent
At the end.
50 hours on this one.
Yeah, so I think the point I'm getting at is like, don't be too precious with what you're putting into the end product, because ultimately you're trying to find something that you want to convey to your audience in a short amount of time.
Right.
And you want to, I can go on and on and on, because it's always complicated, because I'm always precious with my work too. So I always think about the projects I do that I've done in the past for CalArts, where I'm like, oh, I could have put that shot. And it's like not 10 years where I'm like, I wish I could have done like this film with this footage I had, but just, time is always a factor.
And speaking about that too, how was like making films at CalArts for you?
Oh, I love making films at CalArts. Again, there was so much freedom. My mentor is also very supportive too.
Good.
And I wanted to make a lot of films. My mentors were always like, hey, you know what, let's just focus on this one film. And thankfully, I'm glad that I did that, because 3 out of the 4 films that I made got into showcase. And then my third year film ended up being my thesis film. So my 4th year, they're like, well, you don't have to worry about anything. You can just do whatever you want. So I did the most practical thing. I did 2 internships and worked on 5 short films.
Wonderful.
Most practical thing.
Yeah. Very casual, easy.
Yeah, but that got you kick-started,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, so I would say, like, especially if you're a student, like, collaborate on as much as you can, because you'll learn so much from that, and that will help you ultimately when you get your first studio job, if you're working on an independent production, like, already having that experience, even if it's not studio related, really helps you in the long run.
What are some common editing mistakes that you see now as like post-production supervisor that you just like, oh, that's like no. Yeah.
It's mostly like sound. where like if something's not like matching the like timing wise or sync wise, now it like really gets to me. And especially if like something's not rendered correctly, now I know exactly like what stage of production it's in, and I'm like, oh, this didn't get like the revised shot, this looks really bad. So I think I've been going to the theaters less because of that. Because I'll just sit there, I go to like the Alamo Draft House and I'll just sit there and be like, no.
Lip sync is off. Just in the
Yeah,
back.
and I just saw last year I saw the live action Snow White, and there's this part of Snow White where it cuts to an old version of it, and you can tell based off the color correction, based off the acting, based off the edits, and I was like, I don't know what the hell is going on. It was so rough. Yeah, so right now my relationship with like editorial is kind of rocky because now I'm like, so I'm too invested now, even in films that I shouldn't be that invested in.
My boyfriend gets really annoyed at me sometimes because I'll be like talking about the animation techniques that they're using while watching,
watching
and
a film.
he's like, stop. And he's like, I don't know what they're saying on screen because you're talking about like harmony and rigging models, and what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But speaking of like techniques and things like that, like how did you find your creative voice or like your creative stamp when you got into post-production? Like, do you think at that point it's more about just doing what somebody else tells you to do and just executing it well, or do you feel like, oh, there's still some room for me to have some fun and put my own little stamp on it?
I think I've been lucky where I've got to work with different clients and studios where they're either very strict on what they want or they're very like open to whatever I would recommend. And I've worked with directors too at Stupid Buddy that are also very collaborative, where they'll be like, oh, we want to do these edits, but what do you think? So I've been kind of able to use all of these different experiences from different clients, where I've been able to kind of encourage myself to push out ideas towards my bosses and other people, being like, hey, like, I know you want to do this note, but we should also change it up like this, or I'll defend a note being like, no, it should be like this because of X, Y, and Z. So I would say through my experiences with different clients, I've been able to be more confident and kind of stand on anything that shouldn't be changed, or like push something that definitely should be changed.
Kind of an offshoot, but I've been curious about like, what's a sign when you first get into a studio that you can tell, oh, this boss is really good, or oh, I'm gonna have a hard time being under this directive?
I would say when I first worked at Sony, it was still remote, but everybody was just talking about their days, talking about the dramas at home, even before talking about work. And I was like, okay, this team feels like perfect. Like everybody, there's like a really incredible work-life balance at Sony, which I really love. And that's why I really love being staff so much, because I don't have like a end date like what I would have like with a contract. So I'm very grateful that I'm with them and that there's this really incredible work-life balance where I can get out of work and not feel incredibly stressed. I was just now incredibly stressed with my side gigs, not incredibly stressed from my Sony gigs, which people assume that I'm mostly stressed out about, but that's not the case, thankfully.
Yeah, no, that's really good. It's good to hear too that studios are really patient with their workers and, like, you know, have time to banter about home drama and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, that's up until like delivery.
Then the stress comes.
So when it comes to like Spider-Verse and K-pop, like those like final weeks are like really stressful.
Crunch
There's like
time.
fires everywhere.
It's that keep it short, let's get this done, you know.
Do you have like, well, you know, any institute you go to, they're always gonna give you very limited, like they can show you like the whole thing of something, but you're only gonna learn so much of one topic. Is there any resources online that you've learned over the years that helped you in your career? Like any YouTube tutorials or like classes or anything?
Coco.
I mean, I would say a lot of my experience has just been through working with other people. So if somebody's like, hey, can you DP like my music video, or can you help me like edit this? I learned a lot of my experience through that. And For some reason, I've also been learning a lot through TikTok and through
That's so
Red
real.
Note.
That's so real.
Yeah, so like on Red Note, I've been looking at a lot of like Photoshop and Illustrator, like how-to videos, and I'm like,
They're
these are so good, yeah.
They're so useful. No, because on YouTube you find
Yeah.
some things that they're outdated or like they don't get to the point. Like and subscribe, but on like short form media platforms, they're like, oh, this and this and this, and that's how you do it.
Yeah,
Bingo.
no, exactly, and straight to the point.
Yeah.
Like I love those short form content where it's like just easy, straight to the point. And yeah, and then I also love seeing Justine King on Red Note too. She's
Yes.
constantly hustling. Yeah.
My goodness, yes.
Yeah.
I know sometimes I feel like I click on a YouTube link and I have to sit through like 5 minutes of Burger King foot lettuce.
Oh.
Do you know what I'm talking about? But I'm so sorry. So now, like talking about finding jobs, how do you put together like a portfolio for post-production work? Is it just sending in fully finished shots? Is it showing your files, or is it like showing step by step, like this is the initial edit, this is the color grading, this is the audio edit in? Like, how does that look like for you?
So for us, so we've actually been hiring like crazy recently. Thankfully, we have a lot of work going on. And actually, we're actually looking at your resume, your IMDb, your LinkedIn, and not actually your reels. So that's why I think it's really key to be a part of the community, because my bosses and my team will actually reach out to other studios and contacts that they have that might be connected to you. So if you have any people that you would like want to have recommend you, like ideally you would put on your resume as well, because it's really word of mouth as well. So I was able to get some of my friends into Sony because of my word of mouth and my like high recommendation being like, oh, I worked with them on X, Y, and Z project and they're incredible. And I was able to also pull bits and pieces from their resume, their LinkedIn, and from YouTube and give references. So it's not ideal that we're not looking at the reels, but it is really important to put all of your experience on your LinkedIn, on your website, on your IMDb, and on your resume, because we're actually reading it. Like I think I'm one of the 2 or 3 people reading the 500 resumes per role. So it's not a machine at Sony. It's literally me looking through every single line. So we really care about the people that we bring into Sony, and we're looking at everything.
Nice, yeah. And you mentioned like not seeing reels, but how about like websites? Like, would you look at people's websites for their work? Okay, gotcha.
Yes, but I would say like IMDb, LinkedIn. For me, LinkedIn is very important. Like that's my number one thing of going into is LinkedIn.
Right.
Because for me, LinkedIn always feels like the most updated version of your resume and your experience.
Right.
So if you don't have a LinkedIn or it's not up to date, you should do that.
Okay.
Like
Get on
maybe
it.
update it like on a monthly basis.
Okay,
Yeah.
work.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because I know for sure the small recruiting team also looks at the LinkedIn's as well.
And one last thing as well, because we had a professional prep class yesterday as well, and we were talking about something similar.
So cool.
They mentioned the importance of a social media presence as well. How important is that compared to a LinkedIn presence or compared to your website updating?
Super important. So I think you all know Brooke that currently works here,
Brooke
character. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she has said in the past panels that she looks into social media and she looks at like potential artists that she can recommend to the recruiting teams at Bento Box or other projects she's working on. So recruiters so if you're an artist, they are looking at your social media.
Right.
So especially Instagram is like a huge one for spa. So you should keep your Instagram as updated as you can, and if you can't, like don't burn yourself out, but consistently post to keep yourself active.
Yeah.
And so because I'm in social media too, I would say like if we're going to Lightbox, you can like draw something at Lightbox, maybe take a photo of it at spa, tag them. Like it's like a surefire way of like getting yourself noticed by different studios.
For sure.
Yeah. Might I say, you have been quite the GOAT.
More thumbnails.
More thumbnails. Oh, and then we get like one of us being like,
The Mr. Beast ones? Yeah.
But
Speaking of,
speaking of, do you want to talk more about the goat? I know that like obviously it's not out yet. Don't say anything; they'll get you in trouble.
please
You can call out the snipers, Sony. Okay.
Yeah, I see it right there.
If you see a red dot, run. No, I'm kidding. But, like,
I'm accepting my fate.
can you talk a little bit more about the project and like where you are right now in the
Right.
pipeline?
Yes, so right now we have just finished voiceovers.
Ooh.
So we're
Dang.
doing our loop groups right now, which is just a group of voice actors that are doing like the audience reactions.
Mm-hmm.
So like of course with Goat, it's a basketball film, so we have our arenas and stadiums of fans of like all different animal species, and they also are doing loop groups with actors of different ethnicities and languages. So that's also really cool to see. So right now it's what we're doing our dubbing, which is really exciting. And we're also getting international involved to also start working on the subtitles and changing some of the text and the environments of Goat. So essentially like the sign placements where it's like if it's in English, they're going in and fixing it and doing the
That's so
redesign.
interesting. I've always wondered, like during dubs, like how do they do the small tweaking in the background to make it feel immersive? Because it's like I watch anime, so it's like in the background. Why is it not? Wow, that's in English. That should be in Japanese. Like what?
Yeah.
So that's what they do. Just it's a process, a whole process.
Yes. So like ideally we would like finish the film at a certain time so international can go in and make those fixes. So if you don't see that change, it's either because the deadline, we didn't meet the deadline, or there just wasn't a need from the distributor to want to do that.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So it
Yeah.
depends on the production as well.
Yes. Yeah, so like for Spider-Verse, we had like we would call like a Texas version. So this is like for international to put in their versions.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Fascinating. Yeah. Now I'll be like extra focused on that.
Yeah.
Go extra work was put into that specific part.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And now we're going to be going into sound and music.
Nice.
And I haven't heard the music yet, but I feel like music probably going to be really good, especially considering the success of K-pop. I mean, not to put pressure on Goat, but
Right.
I think, you know, the music from Spider-Verse, music from K-pop, like I'm assuming we're going to have some great stuff coming from Goat.
Sony's really good at sourcing for like music. I noticed,
Yeah.
like sourcing artists that people would be interested in.
Yeah, no, we're super lucky to have Sony Music and to have like all of our international partners with us. Like again, like I always like am super thankful to be working at Sony because we have so many resources.
The music is so goated.
Yeah.
Make you leave.
You don't need to leave.
Oh, that's a red dot on your forehead.
I have a cat at home. No, sorry.
Yes.
How do you think like so like can you talk about like any other programs that you prefer using like more than anything? Like what's like your is it like one program that you usually are on most of the time, or is it like several different programs you're going in between?
For Sony, so our editors use both Avid and Premiere. So our series uses Premiere, feature uses Avid. They use a program called C Media, which is like to reshare a lot of our cuts, a lot of our assets to vendors and across our departments. They use Flixie a lot for storyboarding, for like sharing boards. Trying to think of what else. We use this program called Miro, which is kind of like a whiteboard.
Yes.
Whiteboard
I
sharing.
just signed up for it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It's especially really good for brainstorming with like a big
Yes.
group, especially if you aren't in the same space.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we've been using that a lot in post. I think what else? I haven't really been using Adobe as much as.
Let's go! Adobe's such a headache!
Yeah, no, very thankful
Yeah.
that we like really stepped. I mean, and we've been having issues with Premiere too, so we're working through them right now.
Right.
I'm trying to think what else to do.
Do you guys use DaVinci at all or no?
Yeah, because I know a lot of my friends do, but
I would say when I was at Stupid Buddy, we would use DaVinci. Oh no, we do use DaVinci to make our DCPs.
ooh, okay.
So those DCPs can go to film festivals. Like we made some DCPs for Annecy this year through DaVinci. I would say we use DaVinci more at Stupid Buddy to do color correction and our deliveries, but at Sony not so much.
Can you explain what a DCP is really quick?
Yes, that's a digital cinema package. So it's basically it's not like a QuickTime file or a H.264 file. It's more like a package that has all of the, like an advanced version or a high quality version of your audio and your video that can be showcased at festivals like Annecy or into theaters. So sometimes when you're going to a movie theater, there's majority of the theaters now are all being run on DCPs, and then you have like those specialty theaters that will actually have the film reels. But more than likely, the films that you're seeing in theaters are running from a DCP that's sent from the distributor, which would be like for us Sony or Columbia Pictures.
Interesting. It's like a certain quality that you need to export it as, so it fits like a lot of film screens, I'm assuming,
Yes.
and audio systems, I'm assuming.
Yes, and then there's like there's no issues with like replaying them over and over again as well.
Is that exclusive to studios, or can anyone like upload a file like that?
Oh yeah, you can make like a DCP using like the free DaVinci Resolve.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, which I highly recommend
good.
using DaVinci Resolve. As much as it gets major hate in the editorial world, where it's like it looks too, there's a lot of like hate where it's like, oh, it looks too easy. This is just like, like Hasbro Junior, like Playhouse Disney, like editorial. But I like the fact that it's free. And
It's easy.
It's easy. Yeah.
It's easy.
You can edit, you can cut your sound, you can color correct, and you can export into a DCP or anything high res.
It's
perfect.
Like the perfect app, right?
Yeah, and
Maybe, sorry.
oh no, you're good. You're good.
I'm sorry. I was like, I think people are just mad because it's like they like grew up on Adobe, or like they know how to use Harmony, but it's like there's easier apps now. You migrate, please. It's so much easier.
Procreate.
Oh, please.
Yeah,
Except for
no.
Harmony. Harmony is just really that good.
Oh,
Right,
right.
right,
Back to Rise line.
right.
Yeah, but like even DaVinci's like a flat rate too. Like you buy it once and that's it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For now.
For now.
Oh, don't say that. Don't.
Knock on wood.
Well, we've been asking a lot of questions. Do you have any questions for us as students at CalArts?
I think as students, do you worry about how competitive the industry will be when you graduate?
Yep. We got a sound person about it. Yep.
I might have a controversial answer here, and I hope that's not too, like, this doesn't sound cocky at all. No, but that's not because it's not about, like, so I have a little bit of a different experience because I already was, so my first degree was in musical theater. I know, cringe. And exactly, sorry, Glee got me good, y'all. And so I was performing for a few years before I switched over to animation, and that's a very oversaturated market as well, like as far as like the amount of people. But I find like what really sets you apart is like whatever entertainment industry I would, and then maybe you would agree or disagree with this, but like at a certain point everybody's talented, right? It's about more like how you connect with people, how you like operate as a professional is always going to stand out no matter how many people are in the room. And so I think as long as like we all like hold ourselves to a professional standard, like I wouldn't say you'll always be booked, right? Like, but you will be able to find opportunities out there. I don't know. Is that?
No, I
Yeah.
think that
agree,
rings
yeah.
true. Also, what you said earlier, you just constantly apply. I feel like if studios can tell that you really want like a job, they'll give you a chance, right?
Yeah.
Right. That's what I feel about it nowadays.
I would say too, some studios don't like it if you apply to different roles. Like if you're consistent with like, I want to do this and this is what I only want to do, and not like apply for like events, storyboard artist,
Right.
like something in IT. Like if they see that you're just applying to whatever, then they're least likely to consider you for future roles. But if you're consistent and you're showing your work on social media, being like, hey, no, I want to be an artist, I'm posting this, and I'm consistently trying to apply again and again whenever you see the opportunity, then they'll actually be like, oh, let me recommend this to production, and then that's when the interview process happens, and that's how you get in.
Okay.
So I would say like just consistency, especially to the roles that you're applying to.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like a lot of teachers, I get advice that's like dichotomous, where it's like you're either really specialized in some part of animation, be it storyboarding, biz dev, or anything like that. And then there's the other half of it where some teachers are like, you have to be like jack of all trades. You have to know like everything in every single industry. Like what you said just now, I think it lines more with the first half of the advice, where it's you should like aim towards one specific industry, or like
I
don't
feel
know.
like it kind of bounces around. I would say like if you're entry level, I think
Okay.
it's better to just focus on one specific role.
okay.
But if you have like a few years of experience and you don't want to be like stuck in a specific like role,
Right.
then you should be able to jump around.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would say entry level, just focus on one, and you know, if it's not hitting anything, you can always like be like, well, I can also do this, and then you kind of focus on that. So it's kind of like testing out
Right.
how you can get your foot into the door, because that's essentially what I did. Where I left CalArts and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be a cinematographer. Did that for like a year, and I'm like, well, I don't know. Let me go into editorial, and I'm like, oh,
Right.
this actually feels a lot better,
Right.
and the work is more consistent. Let me see if I can put this towards animation, and then that's how I got into Stupid Buddy, because I kind of found my footing in that. And now as I'm like getting more and more deeper into post-production, I'm like, well, now I want to kind of go into producing. So I'm hoping that within the next few years I can find myself more in like post-producing, or like kind of like in a more higher management role in post and production.
And like maybe it's like the answer is kind of like in the middle there, right? Like
Right.
obviously we have the thing we want to do, but be flexible and open
Oh,
to
yeah.
other things.
Right,
And
right,
I
right.
think that'll carry you a lot of places, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
sure hope so.
Yes,
Yes.
Like I could be really set on going to Taco Bell, but if Taco Bell is closed or they don't offer the things I want on the app, which does happen frequently, what's going on
Yes.
there, Taco Bell? I want my, I want the chicken nuggets again. Okay, they have great macros. Anyways, I can still go to In-N-Out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
open
exactly.
till 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, like there's so many opportunities, and you shouldn't feel like you have to just stick to one.
And then how important do you think it is for like newer creatives, right, to be putting out their own work there? Like whether it just be like on Instagram, or like do you think like there is merit when you're going to these interviews to show, hey, look, I made a film and it did really well, or I made a small pilot or something and it did. Did those things count in an interview, you would say?
I would say yes, especially, so our editors sometimes still mention like, oh, we just finished this project and it's doing really well. So to see the level of excitement from our interviewee is also really exciting to see, because that means that they probably will share that same excitement on our projects. And that's why we're always looking for somebody that's really excited, really eager to take on challenges, especially for not how complex, but how demanding some of our productions are. We're really looking for somebody that's super passionate, super eager to take on stuff, really driven to do something that's very different. So when you're talking about like the personal projects and all of the challenges that they have to overcome, but now you're seeing it at festivals, we really like to see that. So we really like to see that you're working on your own personal stuff as well. And of course, you know, being a part of other big productions too are really important as well. But we also want to see that like other side of your life as well.
Have you seen any short films or like independent media that you would want to shout out, like that you've really liked lately?
I mean, for me, I was just mentioning everything that Glitch has been producing
Yeah.
lately. It's been so
They're in New York
good.
right now, right?
Yeah.
Doing their con. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, no, I mean, my dream is to end up doing a collaboration with them.
Oh,
I don't know if that would
yes.
ever be a thing with Sony, but that's the
Uh,
dream.
Yeah.
You gotta email them. You gotta be like,
Yeah.
hey, collaborate with me.
The next episode of Our Tale is going to be studio speed dating. We're just going to bring in a
Studio
representative
speed.
of everyone, and we're going to see if we
Get
get some
them round robin
collaborations
style.
going.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And of course, I will be running it and making connections with every
Yeah.
single
Yeah,
one.
of course.
New CEO of Our Tale.
Exactly,
Right,
exactly.
yeah.
No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
I'll convince like the heads of like spa. Be like, yeah, like you guys should just come over for like just a random thing at CalArts.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'll lock
yeah.
them in the Zoom.
Don't
and be like,
specify.
okay.
Don't specify.
And it's just like me, like scrolling through my
CalArts.
portfolio. Do you see this? Who do you think made that?
yeah.
Yeah,
my
like at that
gosh.
con Monday being like, Sarah, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
Do we show our cards now?
Okay, we can do
Yes.
it. Show your cards.
No.
Thank you for
Thank
watching.
you for watching.